Hi guys, it's Kim. I am back again, keeping it real with Kim Kearns over here because I had another thought this morning and I wanted to share it with you in hopes that it could help somebody out this morning or tomorrow or next week or a month from now. So, do you ever feel like super anxious and stressed and just feel like there's so much noise going on in your head and you're just looking for clarity and you're exercising or maybe you're even taking an anti-anxiety medicine and you still feel like, what the heck? Why is my brain full of so much mush? And you kind of can't get things done because your brain has so many thoughts running through them. So yes, that's me. Some of you, most of you won't be surprised at that. So anyhow, I spent part of yesterday and today almost like taking charge and got up and decided that I was going to start getting organized so I could get rid of some of the noise in my head. So I've been following a couple of friends on Facebook. Some of you might know them. Sarah Bird Nelson, Jen Rakowski Finnegan. She grew up in Stoneham. And someone I went to college with, Francesca, and I can't even say her last name because it's a super long last Italian name. And all three of them have, I don't know, like I think they're kind of like small businesses and they help people like just get organized and live a more simple life. I know Sarah practices I'm not going to say it right. Is it called Feng Shui? I don't think I'm saying that right. But I had like a couple conversations with each of them over the past year. And I decided, some of you might know that some of the schools are going remote, some are doing hybrid. In Melrose, where I teach, we are going remote at least till October. And then it looks like if we go back, it will transition to a hybrid. Stoneham's hybrid. One of my kids will be home 3 days a week. The other one, I can't keep track. It changes daily. And I don't even know if it's like final or if the teachers union has to vote on it. But regardless, like, I don't know if anybody found this in the spring. When we were all trying to like work from home, I was trying to teach from home. The kids were trying to do homeschooling. Like we just weren't set up and equipped to do it. And it was stressful. Like we didn't have the proper space in the house that we needed and we weren't prepared because as you guys know, we found out like on one day that we weren't going to school the next day, right? So what I decided to do was kind of take charge and create a space in my house where I could work, where I could teach, where, Josh has his own space, but where Caleb could sit and we could be quiet and focused and be organized and have everything that we need at our fingertips, all right? And this would reduce stress and anxiety, like even over the summer, because you guys know I have my real estate business and I work around the clock doing that too. So I decided that I would kind of transform my dining room. So I did post my dining room table and my hutch on one of the online yard sales and I haven't sold it, but I was like, you know what, that's fine. We're just going to roll with it and use what we have and just get organized. So I kind of wanted to show you guys a little bit of what I did. I had like things I needed in the kitchen, things I needed in like a small den I had, like things that I needed for my business and school were like scattered around the house and like I didn't have a central location. And because of it, like every day I would wake up and it would cause me stress because I just wasn't set up for success. Can anybody relate to this? So I decided that I was going to transform my dining room, keeping my dining room table and the hutch that I have, but using the space so we could like all have a space to work and do school and feel like we had everything at our fingertips. So that's what I've been doing in the last couple days. And let me tell you, just being organized is already like reducing stress. And sometimes these projects feel overwhelming. Like who has things to go through in their closet or the kids' closet? And it's like, I'll do it tomorrow. A week goes by. 2 months, 4 months. All right. So when we had come home from school, I had this pocketbook or bag that I used and I used to throw everything in it for school. I'm embarrassed, but I'm going to admit I had this bag sitting on my kitchen counter literally since March, whatever the date was, 13th. And it was full of stuff that I had just like thrown in that day because, whoa, my phone's like falling over. Sorry. Because we weren't like prepared. Like we had no forewarning. It was like, okay, we're leaving school and no one's coming tomorrow. So I had this bag full of crap. Let's just be honest. Okay. Then like the countertops were just, you know how you get all that mail and it's like, oh, I'll save this. Like I don't need it now, but what if I need it? Can you guys relate to that? Like the paperwork gets overwhelming, not knowing what to do with anything. So I spent, was it yesterday or the day before? I literally spent like 3 hours. I poured out my pocketbook. I took everything that was on the kitchen counter. I went through everything. I tossed, I donated. I did what my friends that go live every day talking about what to do, but I'm like, yeah, I need to do that. And I don't do it, but I made it a priority and it already has like taken a weight off my chest. And then I went and got everything we need for work and school and got that organized. So when we go back to school, like we're prepared and we don't have that feeling of like stress of how this is going to play out come next month because we just weren't set up at home to like properly homeschool. So what I did was, and it's nothing big, but it was time consuming. I'm not going to lie. It probably took me like 6 hours to get organized because I had stuff in the kitchen, I had stuff in my den, I had stuff in my dining room, like there was stuff everywhere in the house. So I'm like, you know what? Whatever's in the kitchen is what needs to belong in the kitchen. Whatever's in the dining room, either because we're using the dining room or using it to like work or go to school, needs to be in the dining room. Like, I don't know if anybody else is like this, but sometimes I just put stuff in places where there's space, but it's not like the appropriate space for it. And then you feel discombobulated like every single day of your life. So what I did was, I'm going to flip the camera for a second. And this is like anything big. It was just like me taking initiative. And like, now it's kind of giving me the energy. It's like, you know how yesterday I was talking about success loves speed, like get the ball rolling. I don't know why my phone's like discoloring. Well, it's almost like once you start doing these little projects around the house, you kind of get the energy and you're like, oh my God, I feel so much better that I did that. Now I'm going to go upstairs and do this or go to this kid's closet or whatever. All right. So let me just take you on a little trip. Hold on. I'm actually in the window and you guys can see right there. That's where the Merricks live across the street. There's Jacob's car. So if you guys can see, so can you see this is like a side boy hutch. And this was actually years ago in my father's real estate office, oddly enough. And I put this on the marketplace to sell, but then I was like, you know what? It's not selling. I'm just going to use it. So I brought my printer in here. We have a couple laptops. My school's awesome. They just bought us all these brand new Dells. So now I have like a dedicated computer. Caleb has his computer here for school. We have the printer and then I have like work stuff. Then I loaded it with like the pens, pencils in the drawer. We have the paper. And then like I got organized and put everything for work in files. All right. Got this all organized. And like, I'm going to use this space for work. So I unloaded everything that was in this cabinet. Most of it, let's be honest, have never been used. There were tablecloths and stuff in there that were just so outdated. So I donated those. Then like I just set up this space on the table and I took the tablecloth off. But I'm like, I've been sitting there. Now I'm connected to the printer. Before I used to take my laptop in the den, connect to the printer that was in a closet. Like it just wasn't set up correctly. And then I tried to get rid of this. This was my mother's. This is like has the beveled glass. These things, they don't make these things anymore. But what I did was I took all the plates and everything down and I stacked them. So that way, if we want to use them, and I'm a firm believer, don't save good things for a nice day or for a special occasion. Every day is a special occasion. Every day that we wake up and breathe is a reason to celebrate because I can attest to it. Life is short and sometimes unexpected things happen. So you can ask my friends. I've used every single, which now I would never do, but I registered for that like Waterford crystal. I've used every Waterford crystal glass. Guess what? Every single one has broke over the last 20 years. And I'm not sad about it because we use them and we enjoyed them. I didn't save my good silverware. We use them every single night. We use those plates in the china cabinet, okay? Because there's no such thing as a special occasion for like 2 times a year. Every day that you wake up is a blessing, is a celebration. So don't save things for a special day, all right? Special day is today. Special day is right now in this moment. So I made it so it was like easily accessible because years ago, the china was like all set up on display and then like you're trying to move the cups, you're trying to move this, trying to get at the plates. And I'm like, no, we're going to make our lives easy. We're stacking the plates so we can just pull them out now and use them super easy, saves time, right? And I'm all about that. And this is new for me. And you guys know, like I have ADHD, all right? I put it out there. I'm wicked public about that with my students and everyone. And it's part of who I am. It's a struggle that I wake up with, but it's something I celebrate every day because it's what makes me who I am. And I think there's something to be said about that. And there's so many positive things when you have learning disabilities. And I think, you know, I tell my students too that have ADD or ADHD, when everybody else is kind of vegging out on the couch at night or whatever, our brains don't shut off. Like we keep going. And that's why most entrepreneurs have ADD or have ADHD, all right? Because their brains just don't shut off. So there's so many positives about that. You guys see, I just got sidetracked because that's my ADHD. So I wanted to come on and tell you guys, it's just one baby step, whether it's one cabinet in the kitchen, okay? One cabinet, that's it. We're not talking. Whether you want to do one thing a week and then maybe it's 2 things a week, all right? But I'm just doing baby steps. This is new to me because I've never been organized. It's part of that ADHD scatterbrain. But I'm like, no, Kim, you need to set yourself up for success. And part of that is putting things where they belong in a usable area. And this is awesome too, because we're going to keep the dining room table, we decided, because we will sit here and eat. That way we'll just throw the tablecloth on and eat. I just have to move my laptop. But I put all the supplies that I need just so Caleb and I can sit here with our laptops. Josh is pretty independent and does his own thing. But, you know, Caleb's kind of like me if nobody has recognized that, right? So we need like structure. So I set us all up and I just feel like a weight's been taken off of me. And I wanted to share that this morning. And I want to give a special shout out to those people in my life, Sarah Bird Nelson, Francesca, I can't say a last name, and Jen Rakowski Finnegan, because I've been watching them for the past couple months and they come on every day and share stuff like this. And you're like, yeah, I got to do that too. And you never do. Well, today today, this weekend is the day that it's happening, all right? And I'm gonna, join me and do this. You'll feel so much better. And it will reduce stress and anxiety, like undo stress and anxiety, okay? These are things that cause us stress and anxiety, and we can simply just get rid of them. And the other thing, I want you guys to hold me accountable because I'm gonna try come live more often, right? And thank you. I decided, you guys, some of you might know, if you know me really well, that I bite my nails. It's like a stress thing, probably anxiety. I have no idea. I've always been a nail biter. I'll just be completely honest. So like sometimes I'll throw on fake nails just because I'm like, oh my God, like these are disgusting, Kim. Stop and get control, all right? But I decided last week, almost like how exercise might be difficult for some people, this is difficult for me, but I made a promise to myself that I'm going to try really hard not to bite my nails. Why? Because it's gross and disgusting. Right? Nobody should be doing that. So I put on the nail hardener. It looks like a kid painted my nails. It was me, but obviously I don't know what I'm doing. So if anybody has wants to come over and help me with that, that would be awesome. Give me a little lesson in that. And I want you guys to hold me accountable. I'm going to check in with you. All right. So that's one thing that's like super difficult for me that I'm literally going to try and see if I can improve upon. So I am coming to you this morning to tell you that sometimes we have stresses and anxiety in our life. And sometimes we're the cause of them, and there are simple fixes that we can do, but we put it off. But if we make it a priority, oh my God, we can breathe easy. And then something that seems such a weight is like a feather. All right. So that's what I'm coming to you guys this morning to share with you. Bye, guys.